Okay.
Hello, am I audible? Can anyone please confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, you are
Yes,
audible.
Okay,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, thank you.
Visible.
So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this NPTEL live session for the NPTEL course Introduction to Machine Learning. My name is Awan Maiti. I'm a PhD scholar in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Kharagpur. So, I will conduct live sessions every Tuesday from 6 pm. And in these live sessions, we will discuss some practice problems on different topics. So in this live session, I will discuss some practice problems on week 1 topics. So in week 1, some introductory things have been covered for machine learning, like classification, regression, then supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning, and little bit of bias variance have also been covered. So I will discuss some practice problems on these topics, and I will also try to clear your doubts and answer your questions. So if you have any questions or doubts regarding the topics covered in week 1, you can ask me. So we can
Screen is in full size.
can you please repeat?
एक्चुअली अभी इधर साइड से ना बाहर में अटेंडी दिख रहे हैं ना, तो मैं ये चाह रहा था आई वांट दैट स्क्रीन इज टू बी फुल साइज वेयर
Hmm,
कंटेंट इज फोन.
I am not sure how to do that.
It's
Mm,
clear. Screen is proper.
Sir, screen is proper.
yeah, so someone is saying to make the screen full screen, but I don't know if.
स्क्रीन इज प्रॉपर बट अगर ये मैक्स साइज में हो जाए तो बेटर रहेगा. इट वुड बी बेटर इफ इट इज इन मैक्स साइज. वहाँ
No,
पर जो
from
size
my side it is max size. So you have, I think from your side you can remove those attendee icons that are appearing below your screen.
Sir, you can double click on the screen and it will be full screen.
okay. I did same, but I'm not able to. Okay,
Sir,
so
are
please
you
continue. Please
using
continue.
mobile
I
phone
will
or
adjust.
laptop?
Laptop.
Yeah, this is laptop, but I'm also joining with my tab. So the screen is coming from tab actually, but I'm also joining with the laptop camera. So also my camera needs to be there, and that should also be recorded. So that's why I have
I
to
can manage.
keep. Mm,
I can manage, sir. Please carry on, sir.
okay, thank you. So we will. So these are some of the logistics of these live sessions. That today is the first day of the live sessions for me. Some other live sessions are also going on parallelly that are conducted by other TAs. But my live sessions will be conducted on every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and this is the link that you can use on every Tuesday. And today is the start day, 30th January. So we will start solving some practice problems, and after that if you have any questions or queries regarding week 1 topics or any of the questions that I will be discussing here, you can ask me later on.
Sir, before you start, may I ask one question?
Yes.
This videos will be uploaded, na?
Yes, yeah, those videos will be uploaded in YouTube and you will also get the links.
Okay, thank you.
So this is question 1. Which of the following are supervised learning problems? And multiple options may be correct, and you can write your answers in the chat. So these are the 4 options. Which of the following are supervised learning problems? Options are learning to ride a bicycle using a reward signal, predicting disease from blood samples, grouping students in the same class based on similar features, and face recognition to unlock your phone.
Option D.
Yeah, you can write your answers in the chat. I will read your answers from the chat. Multiple options may be correct in this question. Okay, so Bipasha is saying BC, Ayush Sinha is saying ABD, Bikas Ranjan is saying B and D, Bhupesh and Rakhi are saying BCD, and Satish is saying BD, Anusha Das is saying BD, Ujjwal is saying C only, Venkateshwar Varlu is saying A, and many of you are saying BCD. So most of the answers I'm getting from the chat are BCD. So and some of the answers are also B and D. So the correct answers are B and D. Supervised learning problems. So the first option is learning to drive using a reward signal. So if you have gone through the lectures, you will know that this is a classic example of reinforcement learning, where you interact with the environment and you get some rewards, whether it's positive or negative. Based on that, you correct your behavior in the environment. That's how you learn a process like riding a bicycle or driving a car, like this. And so this is reinforcement learning, that is not supervised learning. The second option is predicting disease from blood sample. So in this case, if you want to predict a disease from blood sample, so you need to have the class levels or a decision variable in your data set, and if you have a decision variable in your data set, that is supervised learning. So you are predicting a specific disease from the blood sample, so you need to have this decision variable, and that would be your output of your model. So option B is supervised learning. Option C is grouping students in the same class based on similar features. So many of you have written C in the chat also, like B, C, D, many of you have written. C is not supervised learning. Grouping any kind of objects into several groups based on similar features is always unsupervised learning. So we are just grouping those students, not classifying those students as something. Like in option B, we are predicting a specific disease, but here we just grouping or clustering the students based on their similarities. So we are grouping or clustering the students, so that is unsupervised learning, where the model does not output a specific decision variable, or the training dataset does not have any specific decision variable. That would be the output of your model. So in unsupervised learning problems, there are no decision variables. So in option C, grouping students, this is an unsupervised learning problem. And option D is face recognition to unlock your phone. So in case of face recognition, you have to upload your face, image of your face to your phone. That acts as the target variable or the output variable, and it tries to match a sample with the sample that it already has stored. So that is also supervised learning problem, that the decision variable is either it's you or not. So the decision variable is present there, so that is why it is also supervised learning problem. So B and D, these two are supervised learning problems. Other two options are not supervised learning problems. Someone is asking, Sreni Bakayat is asking, similarity in features is not decision variables. Decision variable means a variable that that would be the output of your model. In option B, predicting a disease from blood sample. So based on different features of the blood sample, you will predict which disease it is. So the disease is the decision variable. But in case of grouping students in the same class based on similar features, we are grouping those students based on features. Features are different from decision variables. Features are the input features or the attributes that we say, and the output is the decision variable, or it is also called target variable that we want to predict. So that's why the similarity features are not decision variables. Decision variable is something that your model would predict as output. Is there any other doubt in this question?
Sir, I want to ask one question.
Yes.
That if we have to tell that whether it is supervised or unsupervised, if there is confusion in two MCQs, then in two options, sorry, then how we can tell that which one is supervised? Through decision variable only.
Yeah, so supervised means there is a supervisor, that means there is the decision variable is present in your training data, and that is what we would like to predict. Our model would like to predict that decision variable as correctly as possible. And any kind of grouping or clustering is unsupervised, where the target variable or decision variable is not present and your model is not predicting any specific variable. It is just grouping similar objects into one group or cluster.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sir, otherwise we can say the output with respect to input is called as supervised learnings. Is it correct, sir?
Yeah, if there is a specific output variable that your model is predicting, in that case the problem is a supervised learning problem. Here you are predicting disease, and in case of option D, you are predicting yes or no, that is it is your face or not. So there is specific variable that your model is predicting, but in case of unsupervised, your model is not predicting any specific decision variable, it is just grouping the objects.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Moving on to question 2. Which of the following are classification problems? Again, multiple options may be correct here. There are 4 options. Predict the price of a house, predict the disease of a person, predict the temperature for tomorrow, and learning to play a guitar. So these are the 4 options. Multiple options may be correct. And you can write your answers in the chat. Many of you are saying A and B. Aditya Vyas is saying A and B. Puravi, Divya, Sreni are saying option B. Others Vera is saying A. Sudarshan Hegre is saying A and B. Tamil Selvi is saying B and D. Charu Datta is saying A, B, C. Sonali Bajaj is saying A, B. Amit Pandey is also saying A, B. Sapna is saying B. Prashant is saying only B. Gagandip is saying A. Mohammad Ibrahim, do you want to say something? You have raised your hand. And many of you are saying A and B. Some of you are also saying B and D. So the correct answer is B only. This is the only correct option. Predict the disease of a patient. So the question is classification problem. Classification problem is a kind of supervised learning problem. Supervised learning problems can be divided into 2 different kinds of problems: classification and regression. So in classification, the output is a finite set of discrete values. So different classes you would predict, not continuous values. You would predict different discrete classes like 0, 1, 2, or in case of diseases, specific diseases you would predict. But in case of regression, the output is continuous. It might be bounded, but continuous real values are predicted. So the first option is predict the price of a house. So price of a house is a continuous variable. So you cannot predict specific classes for this case. You have to predict a real numbered value. So continuous value has to be predicted. So it is a regression problem. Option B is predict the disease of a patient. Predict the disease of a patient. So disease, there are specific classes. In case of disease, you would predict that which class it is. So it is discrete valued. So it is a classification problem. Option C is predict the temperature for tomorrow. Again, temperature cannot be divided into classes. Class levels cannot be present in this case. Temperature is a continuous variable, so it is a regression problem. And option D is learn to play guitar. So learning to play guitar is not a classification problem or even a regression problem. This is not a supervised learning problem actually. It is not also an unsupervised learning problem. This is a reinforcement learning problem where you interact with the environment and get positive or negative rewards. Based on that, you learn to play guitar. So this is a sequential process, and it cannot be learned as a classification or a regression problem. So this is our reinforcement learning problem. So that's why option B is the only correct answer here, classification problem. Is there any doubt on this question?
Sir, the
Yes.
option is predict the price of house. We can also classify the price of house by using their features, like as 2 BHK house, 3 BHK house,
No, I
one
mean
BHK house.
price is a continuous variable. No, it is not like there are only 5 different values that it can take. It can take infinite number of values, price, between 0 to let's say 10 lakhs. It can take any value. So this is a continuous variable, not like we have specific classes. So classification means we have finite number of specific classes that we will predict.
I mean, we will see
Can
only
I interrupt?
on behalf of output, which classification or not. Only we will see on behalf of the price of house. We will not consider the feature of the house or attribute
No,
of
no,
the
the
house or
features are
anything
the
else.
inputs. But whether a problem is a classification problem or a regression problem depends on the output variable that that problem has. In case of predicting the price, there might be many different features, different kinds of features, but the output variable is continuous valued, isn't it? The price is continuous valued. It is not that you have only finite number of classes in that. So a regression, it is a regression problem. It's a classic regression problem that you have to predict between 0 to infinite. The output can be 0 to infinite, isn't it? And but in case of classification problems, there are only specific number of classes that you can predict. Like in case of predicting a disease, the data set might contain 5 diseases, so you will predict one of those 5 diseases only. So there are 5
Okay,
classes.
okay.
Actually, nowadays
So,
people use
so
for
the sir, symptoms won't be the continuous variable.
Yeah, the input variable, input features can be anything. It can be continuous valued, it can be discrete valued, it can be categorical, nominal, it can be anything. But the output,
Sir, means you want to say that just we have a 5 disease. Either it will go on the diabetes or in blood pressure or in heart disease.
yes,
In
yes,
different
yes.
categories.
Yeah, if there
So
are
it
5
has to
diseases
do
in the
with
dataset,
predict.
it will be one of those 5 diseases only, 5 classes only. But in case of regression problems, it has, the output can be infinite number of outputs. Like price can be any continuous value from 0 to infinite.
Okay, sir.
So what's the difference between option B and C? There will be a disease, and option B
Temperature
there
is
will be a
also a
temperature
continuous
in.
temperature is also continuous variable. It can be 0.1, 0.11, 0.123. It is continuous valued, isn't it? It's not that you have only specific number of temperature classes. Temperature value in degree centigrade or degree Fahrenheit, it can have any it can take any real numbered value. So it
So
doesn't have
finally, the
specific number of
classification.
classes.
So classification finally depends upon the whether the output is true or false. Otherwise, the decision is right or not wrong. Is it correct, sir?
No, I mean in classification problem, the output can be any number of classes. Yes or no, there are 2 classes. In case of predicting a disease, there might be 5 possible diseases, or let's say 10 possible diseases that you have in your training data. So there are 10 classes. Out of those 10 classes, your model will predict one class for each sample.
Oh, okay,
Sir,
okay,
yes
okay.
or no is the binary classification,
Yes,
na?
yes, yes. In yes or no, it is a binary classification. There are only 2 classes. In case of diseases, there might be 5 or 10 diseases present in your training dataset. So you have to predict one of those 5 or 10 diseases or classes.
This is a multiple classification.
Yeah, multiple class classification there is.
Multiple class. If you have more than 2
Yes.
disease.
So moving on to question 3. Which of the following is not a categorical feature? Again, multiple options may be correct here. Not a categorical feature. Area of a house, height of a person, types of mountains, nationality of a person. And you can write your answers in the chat. Not a categorical feature. Which of the following? Most of the answers are A and B. A and B. Pradeep is saying B, C. Jagan is saying D. Samba Sivarao is saying C. Professor Narendra Kumar is saying D. Charudatta is saying A. Prince Kumar is saying A, B. Odijit Shah is saying A, B. Balivada Basupriya Patnaik is saying A, B. Gagandeep is saying D. A, B. Most of the answers are A and B in the chat. The correct answers are A and B. So not a categorical feature. Again, in case of categorical features, you have to find out whether that feature has specific finite number of categories or not. Like classes. In case of the previous question, as we discussed, whether there are specific number of classes or not. In case of categorical features, you have to find out whether that feature has specific number of categories or not. So first option is area of a house. So area of a house is a continuous variable, so it can take any real continuous value, so it is not categorical. Similarly, height of a person is a continuous variable, it can take any value from 0 to anything. So A and B, these are the two correct answers. Option C says types of persons, types of mountains. So types of mountains is a categorical feature because there are only specific number of mountains are there, specific categories of mountains are there, so it is a categorical feature. And nationality of a person is also a categorical feature, there are only specific number of categories present and nationalities present for a person, so that is also a categorical feature. So A and B, these are the two correct answers. These two are not categorical features.
Sir, height of a person, can we say that medium height, small
Yeah,
height,
if
large height?
if you say like that, in that case it is categorical. If in the data set it is given like that, whether it's tall, short, medium, like that, but generally height, by height we mean in centimeters or in meters, so in that case it is continuous valued, so then it would not be a categorical feature.
Sir, how we can identify that on what basis we are categorizing the thing? For example, right now you are saying that if we have the data set, so we can assume height of a person as a category, right? But here, right now in this question, we are not having any kind of a data set with us.
I mean,
So how we
it's
can
this.
assume?
It's just general sense that area of a house, area is certainly a continuous value, isn't it? Generally, mathematical
No,
terms,
I'm
we are
talking.
not in descriptive terms like small house, big house. Area, we say that 1000 square feet or 2000 square feet. This is a continuous value, isn't it?
No, no, sir.
Math.
I'm talking about the option B. Option B, the height of a
Again,
person.
yeah, height in mathematical terms we will specify in centimeters or in meters, like 150 centimeters is the height, but if you say it in descriptive way, that short, tall, medium, in that case it would be, but in mathematical terms it is a continuous feature. Height is it's a continuous feature, we will say that 150 160 centimeters. So in that case it is not categorical.
Sir, categorical is supervised or unsupervised?
No, this is different. So this category, a feature, for any feature, whether it's that feature is categorical or not categorical, so it can be input features, it can be the output of the model also.
Sir, so I think categorical and the classification both are similar. दोनों
In
similar.
the definition of classification and regression is based on the output variable, whether the output variable is continuous or discrete valued classes. But here I am asking categorical feature for any kind of feature. I am asking whether these values can also be input features in a data set. Height of a person can be an input feature to predict something other than other about the person. So
sir, categorical feature could be both, either input or output.
Yeah, for any feature, it can be categorical or it can be continuous valued, it can be nominal, like this. But classification and regression, you have to see the output variable, whether the output variable is continuous valued or not, based on that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Depending on the output
Okay, sir,
only,
that's
we are categorize the features, sir. Right? Depending on the output only, we are saying the particular output. Sir.
No, if in case of class, whether the problem is classification problem or a regression problem, that depends on the type of the output variable, whether that is continuous or categorical. So that will tell you whether that problem is classification problem or regression problem. But in this case, I am not specifying whether these features are output variables or input features. Area of a house, height of a person, all these features can be input features as well. Or even these can also be output features. I am just asking whether this specific feature is categorical or not.
Okay, okay. So depending upon the feature, you are asking this question,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay, okay, sir.
Categorization and classification are both same.
Yeah, I mean similar. Categorization, we don't say the problem is categorization problem. The problem we say is classification problem. But if a feature can take only specific number of categories, then we say that that feature is categorical feature.
Okay. Okay.
Now question 4. Which of the following tasks is not a suitable machine learning task? Not a suitable machine learning task. So option A is finding the shortest path between a pair of nodes in a graph, predicting if a stock price will rise or fall, predicting the price of petroleum, grouping mails as spams or non-spams.
Sir, A.
Okay. Yeah, so most of you are writing A in the chat. So most of the answers in the chat are A. Some of you are also saying C.
No, sir. C and D not.
The correct answer is option A, finding the shortest path between a pair of nodes in a graph. This is not a suitable machine learning task. This is a graph theory based problem. So there are specific algorithms for that. It is not suitable for machine learning. But the other 3 problems are suitable for machine learning, like predicting whether a stock price will rise or fall. We can create a machine learning model using a training data set. Predicting the price of petroleum, again based on the historical price of the petroleum, a machine learning model can be trained for this task. Grouping mails as spams or non-spams, that can also be done using machine learning. So B, C, D, these 3 tasks are suitable machine learning tasks, but The first option, the finding the shortest path between a pair of nodes in a graph, is not a suitable machine learning task. Is there any doubt in this question?
No, sir.
Sir, I have a doubt. If there is a multiple nodes, then we can find out the shortest path. Then what it will be there, sir?
If there are multiple nodes,
Means when we are using in take as the example of logistic, we are supplying a product from one source to multiple source. Then we are
yes.
finding the shortest path. Then there we can apply machine learning or not.
No, I mean that can also be done as a graph theory based problem. This is graph theory based problem that from a certain node you visit a certain node, what is the shortest path. That for that there are specific graph theory algorithms like Dijkstra, Bellman-Ford, Floyd-Warshall, or many different algorithms are there to find out the shortest path between two nodes. Also, a shortest path via several other nodes also. So there are specific algorithms. This problem is not suitable for machine learning.
Okay, sir.
Sir, but when we teach in data structures graph, we tell them that the application of graph is neural networks. So I think neural networks comes in machine learning. So why can't
No,
the
this
option
graph, I mean, neural networks is a machine learning model that will take various inputs and it will predict something. Here, graph itself is not neural network in this case. Graph is a different data structure. There are several nodes, and from one node you have to visit some other node. What is the shortest path for that? Don't confuse this graph with the neural network.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Question 5. What is the use of validation dataset in machine learning? There are four options. To train the machine learning model, to evaluate the performance of the machine learning model, to tune the hyperparameters of the machine learning model, and option D is none of the above. So most of the answers are option B, to evaluate the performance of the machine learning model. Pradeep Kumar is saying B and C. Arijit Shah is also saying BC. Indu is saying BC. The correct answer here is option C, to tune the hyperparameters of the machine learning model. So, in case of machine learning, generally we divide the dataset into three parts, sometimes also in two parts: training and test dataset. But in several cases, we also divide the dataset into three parts: training, validation, and test. So, the test dataset is to evaluate the performance of your machine learning model. How good is it on unseen dataset? So test dataset is used for that. But validation dataset you can use in your training process, not to train the machine learning model directly on the validation dataset, but to see the result on the validation dataset. Based on that, you can tune different hyperparameters of your machine learning model. So different machine learning models can have algorithms can have different hyperparameters, and validation dataset can be used to see how good your model is performing on those validation data points, and based on that you can tune your hyperparameters and improve the performance of your model. So it is not directly used for evaluating the performance of the model. We have test dataset for that, and test dataset is not used during the training process at all, or even tune the hyperparameters. It is not used at all. It is strictly to check the final output of your model, how accurate your model is.
Excuse
Sir,
me.
what is unbiased evaluation?
What is
Unbiased evaluation.
The unbiased evaluation means the validation dataset is not used in the training process. So you train your model using your training dataset, then you check what is the accuracy in the validation dataset. So based on that you can tune those hyperparameters, then again train your model, then you check on validation dataset again what is the accuracy, then again tune the hyperparameters and train again, like this.
Excuse me, sir. We
Yes.
have some other optimization techniques like gradient descents to tune the hyperparameters like intercepts. So, do we have to validate data sets for tuning the hyperparameters?
No, I mean the validation data set is used so that I mean different techniques for tuning hyperparameters are there, but to get an unbiased evaluation means the validation data points have not been seen by the machine learning model at all. So it can give you a sense of how good it would perform on unseen data sets. Because that is very important.
Under the B option to evaluate the performance, indirectly we are actually
No,
evaluating the
evaluating,
performance.
that is evaluating means final evaluation that you will do on test dataset. Test dataset cannot be used during the training process at all. It can only be used after the final training is done, then you will check what is the accuracy. But validation is not directly used in training process, but after training you will check the accuracy on validation dataset. Based on that you can tune hyperparameters of your model and then again train your model. So you can use the validation dataset during training but not exactly in training process. But test is not used at all. Test is after your model is trained fully, then you evaluate your model on the test dataset.
Okay.
Next question, sir.
So moving on to question 6. Which of the following is an unsupervised task? Predicting the price of a house based on its area and location, grouping customers based on their preference and history, grouping of handwritten digits from their images, predicting the time a PhD student will take to complete his or her thesis, and option E is all of the above.
B and C.
B and C. Most of the answers in the chat are B and C. The correct answers are B and C. So any kind of grouping is an unsupervised learning task or unsupervised learning problem, where the model is not predicting any specific classes or predicting any specific output variable. It is just grouping or clustering objects based on their similarities. So grouping customers based on their preference and history, so it will check different input features like preference and history of different customers, and similar customers will be grouped into one group. And in grouping of handwritten digits from their images, it will do the same, that similar images would be grouped into one group. So it is not predicting specific class or specific output variable for that. It's just grouping or clustering the objects. So that's why B and C are the two correct answers here. Is there any doubt in this question?
No, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Last question. I have a doubt. Like during the model, we divide the data in the training data set and the testing data set. So where it comes validating data set is also the part of that.
I mean,
We
I
already
said in the beginning that generally we divide it into training and testing, but sometimes it is divided into three parts: training, validation, testing.
and
So in some of the cases it is done, but in many of the cases it is also not done. So it's not like validation dataset has to be there for every machine learning model, but sometimes it is followed to improve the performance of your model.
Okay.
You can check out in the internet validation dataset. The
I
Wikipedia
have
articles are
checked
also
it.
there. Yeah.
Just now I have checked that the answer was correct here. Answer was correct.
Uh, Now question 7. This is on probability. Let x and y be let x and y be two uniformly distributed random variables over the interval 0, 6 and 2, 8. So this is for x and this is for y. These two are uniformly distributed random variables, and if x and y are two independent events or variables, then compute this probability of minimum of x comma y is less than 4. So this question is slightly more difficult than the previous questions, so it might take a little bit of time. Senthil Kumaran is saying A, because Ranjan is saying A. Ritik is saying B. Professor Narendra Kumar is saying option C.
Hindu.
So for this question, minimum of x comma y is less than 4. So minimum of x comma y is less than 4. This event would be true if at least one of these two variables is less than 4. So it would be true if x is less than 4 or y is less than 4. If at least one of these two variables is less than 4, then minimum of x and y has to be less than 4. So that means in terms of probability we can write probability of minimum of x comma y less than 4 equals probability of x less than 4 union y less than 4. So in terms of probability we can write this. So now we have got two events, x less than 4 and y less than 4, and we have to find out the probability of the union of these two events. So there will be probability of x less than 4 plus probability of y less than 4 minus probability of x less than 4 into probability of y less than 4. As x and y are two independent variables, the intersection we can split these two variables for the probability of intersection. That's why we can write it like this. So what is the probability of x less than 4? So x is it's a uniformly distributed random variable from 0 to 6, and what is the probability that it is less than 4? So the probability that it is less than 4 is 4 by 6. So this should be 4 by 6. Similarly for y is from 2 to 8, uniformly distributed from 2 to 8, and what is the probability that it is less than 4? So that is this much. So it is 2 by 6. So probability of y less than 4 is 2 by 6 minus now the product of these two probabilities, 4 by 6 into 2 by 6. So if you calculate this, it would be this.
Sir, it should be now.
1 minus 8 by
2 by 8
30.
by
From 2 to 8, the y is distributed from 2 to 8. So the total sample size is 6.
It should be 4 by 7, I think.
Which one?
4 by 7.
We have a total sample 0 to 6. Total samples are there 7.
No, I mean this is continuous variables. This is not discrete variables like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not that. It continuous from 0 to 4. 0 to 6.
Okay.
In case of continuous variables, you don't count how many integers are there. You just put the difference of the highest minus maximum minus minimum. So it is 6 minus 0 for x, and for y it is 8 minus 2. So these two are continuous variables, not discrete variables. So 1 minus.
Is
So
this continuous variable or discrete variable?
continuous. They are both the variables are continuous variables.
How we can find, sir?
How we can find means? I mean I forgot to write that here, but it should have been written that these two are uniformly distributed continuous random variables. So continuous term is missing here. It should have been written here. So it should be 7 by 9. So is this process clear to all of you? How we split this event minimum of x comma y less than 4 into two different events, x less than 4 and y less than 4, and then the union of these two. So we can use the formula for the probability of union.
Sir, I didn't understand.
Okay, so
Sir, question number 6 once more. Question
question
number 6.
Okay, first let me explain this question, then I will go to 6. So minimum of x comma y less than 4. When will this event be true? Minimum of x and y less than 4. If at least one of these two variables x and y is less than 4, then we will get minimum of x and y is less than 4, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that means x less than 4 or y less than 4. This event is simply x less than 4 or y less than 4. And in case of probability, or is simply union, isn't it? This has been taught in the probability classes, that you can replace or with union, and with intersection. So either x is less than 4 or y is less than 4. So we can use union to join these two, and then you have got union of these two events. So you have to apply the formula for union. Probability of A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So here A intersection B, A and B are two independent events, x less than 4 and y less than 4. These are two independent variables. So we can split it like probability of x less than 4 into probability of y less than 4. And then x less than 4 you have to find out from this uniform distribution. X is uniformly distributed from 0 to 6. So what is the probability that x is less than 4? So 4 by 6. And for y it is distributed from 2 to 8. So what is the probability that it is less than 4? So it's from this diagram you can see that it is less. So if it is less than 4, then it should be between 2 to 4. So total span is 2 to 8. So 2 by 6 would be the probability for this, for y to be less than 4. Then you put all those two variables here, values here.
How 4 and how 2 comes?
For 4 comes for x. So for x, this is the diagram for x. 0 to 6 is the total span. It has to be between 0 to 6. It is uniformly distributed from 0 to 6. But so the probability that I want to find is probability of x less than 4 only. So x less than 4, this is the band within which it has to stay, value of x, 0 to 4. So that means 4 by 6. So this is basic for probability. You can go through probability notes for that. That what is the how can you find out this cumulative probability values? It will be 4 by 6, and similarly you have to do it for y. For this you can check probability notes, you can get this.
Understood, sir.
Sir, here, yeah, one of the values should be minimum of 4.
It will be same.
So,
One of the values should be
probability of one of that one should be less than 4. Is it correct?
probability of x is less than 4, or probability of x is less than 4 or y is less than 4. So simply or is substituted with union.
Yeah. For that one we have used a union, but why do we use again minus the intersection of those two?
That is again, that is basic of probability. Probability of A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B, isn't it? So in this case A and B are two independent events. So A intersection B would be probability of A into probability of B.
Okay.
So what about in case of maximum?
Yes.
In case of maximum,
In case of max, then you have to that would be again a lengthy process, and you can try to do it yourself, that in case of max what would it be, but if I try to do it, it would take again long time.
Sir, can you tell me once again that 2 by 6? I'm not getting it.
So it is for uniform continuous uniform distributions. So you can check out how to find out these cumulative probability values for uniform distributions. This is already available in Wikipedia only. So or some other notes also you can find out. So for uniform distributions, how you do it, you can find out in the textbooks or also in the internet.
So how we are saying the value x of 0, 6 and y of 2, 8 are continuous value?
This is the interval. The continuous these are x is uniformly distributed in the interval 0 to 6, and y is uniformly distributed from 2 to 8.
This is like
Like
range
2, 3, 4, 5,
0 to
6, 7,
6.
8, na sir?
No,
2,
no,
3, 4, 5.
continuous variables I am saying. Continuous means it can take 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, any value, not discrete
Okay, okay,
values.
okay, okay, okay.
If it was discrete, then it would have been 7 would be the denominator in that case.
Okay, sir.
Now question 8.
Question number 6, sir.
Question 6. What was question 6? Question 6 I already discussed. No, any kind of grouping is an unsupervised learning task. So B and C are grouping tasks. So grouping tasks would be unsupervised, and if you are predicting a specific target variable, whether it's continuous or different classes, it would become a supervised learning problem. Which of the following is an unsupervised learning task? Multiple options may be correct here. Predict a stock market price of a company, predict rainfall for a given day, group flowers based on similar features, predict whether an image contains a dog or a cat.
Sir, C is confirmed. D predict whether image contains.
Supervised வந்து கரண்டிலே இருக்காது குரூப்பிங்னால இதான் சி 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 சி.
So most of you are writing C in the chat.
Only C is the answer.
Sir, might be D will be also. I think D will be.
So the correct answer is only C. So grouping is an unsupervised task. I already discussed in a previous question. So any kind of grouping is certainly unsupervised, and option D is predict whether an image is a dog or a cat. So you are predicting two specific classes, dog, cat. So it would become a classification problem.
Classification problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So usually
Yes.
what's the grouping and clustering is the same or not, sir?
Yeah, same. Yeah, grouping and clustering, those two processes are same.
Usually the clustering is also called unsupervised learning.
Yeah, I mean grouping and clustering are two same things.
The same.
If it was cluster flowers based on similar features, it would have been unsupervised learning still.
Okay.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, whether predict whether an image contains a dog or a cat. It is just a classification between dog and cat. Let's say the sample size is higher. That means not only dog or cat, it may be.
Yeah, it can have any class that your model might predict. If the training data set has 5 classes, dog, cat, tiger, lion, anything, so still it would be classification problem, isn't it? You are classifying out of those 5 classes only.
Yes, it is classification problem.
Sir, in earlier questions there was a question in which we were asked about supervised learning task.
Yes.
So there is a option that predict the temperature of a day.
Yes.
But that was incorrect. So that would be.
No, that was classification problem. Not the question was which of the following is a classification problem. So predicting temperature is supervised learning problem, but there are two kinds of supervised learning problems: classification and regression. So temperature is a continuous variable, so it would be regression, not classification. So question was which of the following is a classification problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Question 9. Which of the following is a reinforcement learning task? Multiple options may be correct. Learning to swim, learning to predict weather, learning to play a video game, learning to group similar flowers based on features.
Learning to see, learning to study. A is the confirm and D is incorrect. B and C.
A and C are the answers.
Okay, most of the answers in the chat are also A and C.
A and C. A and C.
Yeah, most of you are saying A and C. A and C are the correct answers here. So learning to swim, it is a sequential process that you have to interact with the environment, and then you will get reward signals based on your actions, and in that process you would learn. And learning to predict weather, to predicting weather means whether predicting rainfall or predicting temperature, all these tasks are supervised learning tasks. So you will predict a specific target variable. These processes, tasks are not sequential tasks that can be learned using reinforcement learning. Learning to play a video game, this is a sequential task. So you will interact with the video game environment, and you will take different actions, and you will get rewards. So based on this trial and error, the agent would learn. And finally, learn to group similar flowers. So grouping is an unsupervised learning task, so this is not a reinforcement learning task. So A and C are the two correct answers here.
So what's the difference between inductive learning and reinforcement learning, sir?
Reinforcement learning and
Inductive learning.
Inductive learning. Interactive, are you saying? I'm not able to get your that word.
So learning with the help of experience is called inductive learning.
Inductive learning, no, I'm not very familiar with that term.
With the help of experience from in classification, there will be task, performance. In a video lecturer, the SAT taught us performance, task, and then experience.
I have to go through that specific part of the video lecture, otherwise I won't be able to tell. But generally, any machine learning problem can be divided into three different kinds: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. So if that is present in the video lecture, I don't remember it specifically.
How we are classifying the inductive learning, sir? What is inductive learning?
No, I don't exactly remember where this was taught in the class. So it would be better if you post your question in the discussion forum. There the
Ayanji, may I interrupt you?
Yes.
Hello. Hello, Ayanji, may I interrupt you?
Yes.
Actually, since we are going to generalize based upon the given data set, we are going to generalize the process or generalize the prediction we are going to make. In that sense, the madam is saying that it's the inductive learning, because we are going to induce something based upon the given data set.
But any kind of learning, in case of any kind of learning, we induce something, isn't it?
No, sir.
Learning with the help of experience is called as inductive learning. With the help of experience, we can get the output. That is called as inductive learning.
Okay, no, I don't specifically remember. Yeah, I have to go through that specific part. If you have any doubt in that part, you can post in the discussion forum. I will go through that part in the video lecture, or the regular TAs will also be able to clear your doubt in this.
Okay, sir. Can you please tell me what is reinforcement learning?
Think in the reinforcement.
Please, sir, can you explain trial and error in terms of learning? What is?
So in reinforcement learning, what we do is that any kind of sequential process that if you want to learn, like swimming, it is a sequential process. Step by step, you will at a certain state you take some action, and you go to a next state, then you take another action, and also from the environment you get rewards whether you are doing good or not. Or even riding a bicycle, learning to ride a bicycle, so you are at a given state, you take some action. Based on that, either you fall on the ground in case of riding a bicycle, or you don't fall, you are able to ride, so you get some reward from the environment. That is trial and error, that finally you might fall, then again you start again, so that is trial and error. So I mean, in the initial parts, reinforcement learning have not been covered broadly. So later on, towards the end, I think reinforcement learning would be might be taught. I don't know whether it is present in week 11 or 12, but uh, so in reinforcement learning, trial and error method is employed in case of any sequential process, not like just predicting a specific thing, like predicting temperature or predicting rainfall or predicting class of a flower, not like that. So you learn a sequential process, and for that reinforcement learning can be used.
Step by step
Okay.
process.
Yes, any
Depending
kind
upon
of step by
the
step process or
steps,
sequential process. Yes.
depending upon the steps, we can get the output, right?
Yeah, from the you interact with the environment, and environment gives you some rewards. If you are doing good, then you get some positive rewards. If you are not doing good, you will get some negative rewards, and based on that you correct your behavior in the environment, and you learn to do that task.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you discuss something about regression and KNN problems?
Regression and KNN.
KNN problems. Problems in the sense not numerical, basic concepts like
That would be difficult. I mean, uh, I don't have any questions on KNN today. So
Sir, in assignment first, there is a question also for KNN.
yeah, there the KNN is there, but I don't have any questions or KN on KNN today. But KNN, I mean, if I start to teach the topic of KNN, it would take a lot of time. Again, it cannot be done within such
it's
short
okay
time.
if it's okay if you give us some insights means about the theory of either
I mean, the
regression or
basic concept I can tell you, but the mathematics would take a lot of time.
no,
So
no need for any numericals or mathematics, but basic concept. How can we
so
give
in KNN, if in KNN, so K nearest neighbor, so that means for any data point, if you want to predict the class of that data point, you will check the K nearest points of that data set, K nearest training points that you have, and and take the majority class in among those K nearest neighbors. That would be the class of your test data point. So and in case of regression, it is you will predict a continuous value, so you will first check the K nearest neighbors of the test point, and you take the average of all the K nearest points. That will be the output for your test data point. So that's why it's called K nearest neighbors.
I have some doubt in when you say you have a similar value over a entire region.
Yes.
Is that a KNN problem or a regression problem? Linear regression
What which problem? Can you please repeat?
problem. In KNN, you take a certain value and you find three nearest neighbors, and you give the average value.
Yes. Yes.
But when it is spread to three areas, means value of the output remains same in a region.
No, I mean, how can it be spread throughout a region? I mean, for a single test point, you will predict the output. So for that point, you will check which are the K nearest neighbors.
Okay.
So K nearest neighbors from the training dataset, then you average the output of those neighbors, and that would be the output for your test data point. So it's a for every specific test point, you will predict the output based on the K nearest neighbors.
But in lectures, maybe I am not able to understand. Maybe from my side, but there is one after Sir has described the KNN, he has shown one graph where he has divided an entire region into three parts. Okay, in that value, the value of the output is almost same.
Yeah, it would be better if you post it in the discussion forum. There it will be.
Means
Uh,
I had some doubt with whether it's a KNN problem or a linear regression problem.
it would be better if you post your question in the discussion forum in detail. Regular TAs are present there; they would be able to answer it properly. Or we are also present. We can also check your question and answer if we can.
Sir, can you please just post your YouTube channel link? It would be better. Let's say in case somebody missed.
No, the link should be given in the in the course web page. You will get all the links there.
Actually, it hasn't been updated yet.
Yeah, they would update. It has to be updated by the NPTEL admins, so they would update possibly in a few days. So you will get all the video lectures there.
No, no, no. Actually, in last semester, I have also done one NPTEL course. But normally, the TAs who are coming in the to give us weekly sessions, they upload their videos in that in their own channels. Also, the same link is being shared by the NPTEL guy.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So we upload these videos in our own personal channels, and the links are updated in the Excel sheet from where you will get all the links of all the live sessions. So we will update there, and you can get these uh, links from there later on. Let me first finish all the questions that I have. Then, if you have any other doubts, you can ask. Now question 10, this is again on probability. uh, a bag contains 2 red, 3 green and 2 blue balls. Two balls are drawn at random. What is the probability that none of the balls drawn is green? You can write your answers in the chat. Some of you are saying D. Some of you are also saying B. So for this question, two balls have to be drawn. So how many ways are there to draw two non-green balls? So there are total how many non-green balls are there? 2 plus 2, 4 non-green balls are there. So 4C2 is the number of ways you can draw two non-green balls. And what would be the sample size? Total sample size, there are 7 balls in total, and you want to draw 2 balls, so sample size is 7C2. So 4C2 is the number of ways to draw two non-green balls, and 7C2 is the number of ways to draw any two balls. So if you compute this, I think it would be 2 by 7. So option C, 2 by 7 is the correct answer.
Please repeat, sir.
So the question is, what is the probability that none of the balls drawn is green? You have drawn 2 balls at random. So what is the probability that both the balls are non-green? So there are 4 non-green balls, 2 plus 2, and there are 3 green balls. So you want to draw 2 non-green balls. So out of these 4 balls, you will pick 2 balls. So there would be 4C2. So this is the number of ways you can pick 2 non-green balls. And how many total ways are there to draw any 2 balls? So there are total 7 balls here, and 7C2 is the number of ways you can draw 2 balls, any 2 balls, whether green or red or blue, doesn't matter. So 7C2, this is the sample size, and this is the number of ways you can draw 2 non-green balls. So 4C2 by 7C2. Now question 11. Which of the following are false about bias and variance of overfitted and underfitted models? Multiple options may be correct. So you have to find out false options from this from these 4. Underfitted models have high bias, underfitted models have low bias, overfitted models have low variance, overfitted models have high variance. So multiple options may be correct here. Praveen Kumar is saying BD, Preeti is saying AD, Tamil Selvi is saying AC, Ayushina is saying AC, Preeti is saying BC, Shopna is saying BC. So the correct answers are B and C. So underfitted models have high bias, so that's why this option option B is false, and you have to find out the false options here. So underfitted models have high bias and overfitted models have high variance, so that's why B and C are the 2 false options here. Is there any doubt in this question?
Sir, what could you explain about bias variance?
Can you please repeat your question?
Sir, could you explain about bias and variance?
Yeah, so the bias basically means how much error your model has, how inaccurate your model is in a general term. I mean, not mathematically, there are mathematical formulations for this. And bias is generally the error that your model has, and variance is the variability of your model, that is how much the output of your model varies based on different inputs. So there should be a trade-off between bias and variance. High bias is not good and high variance is also not good. But if you generally increase bias, then variance becomes low. If you decrease bias, variance becomes high. So in every machine learning model, there is a trade-off that you have to find out between these 2, bias and variance. So generally we want to reduce both the bias and variance values. And in case of underfitted models, the accuracy is very low, the error is high, so that's why bias is high. And in case of overfitted models, variance will become very high because it is overfitted to the training data, so it fits the training data too much, so that's why variance becomes very high for overfitted models.
Underfitted and overfitted models are comes under which learning method, sir?
What is your question?
This underfitted and overfitted models are comes under supervised or unsupervised
No, no,
learning.
it is for any kind of model. Overfitted, underfitted means both the training error and test error are very high, not good at all. And for in case of overfitted models, the training error would be very low. That means it has been trained too much on the training data, but it is not able to generalize well on the test data. So test error is high, but training error is very low. Uh, so it is applicable for any kind of machine learning model.
Sir, can you please repeat once again?
Uh,
So one question is there. So is overfitted model has high variance?
Overfitted models have high variance, yes.
Can it be?
Yes, overfitted models generally have high variance. This is what I'm saying. And underfitted models have high bias. So these are the two correct statements. Yeah, and so that's why B and C are false options here. Now question 12. This is the last question. An airplane knows that 5% of the people making reservations on a certain flight will not show up. Consequently, their policy is to sell 52 tickets for a flight that can hold only 50 passengers. What is the probability that there will be a seat available for every passenger who shows up? So this question is based on binomial distribution. So binomial distribution can be used to solve this problem.
Sir, I just want to know which material to be followed to understand all these probability related problems.
Probability, I mean, in probability would be required later on in different algorithms. Probability is important for machine learning topics. So, but probability would not be taught in this course, obviously, because probability is a prerequisite for this course. So you have to know the basics of different probability distributions and different techniques in probability because it would be required later on in different machine learning algorithms.
So I'm asking you the material, like which book or something you suggest.
I don't have any specific links for that, but in the first lecture, I think some books have been referred in the video lectures. In those books, these preliminaries of probability might be there, so you can check those books out.
Can
Hello,
you
sir.
please show the books there?
No,
In
in the
PPT
course
itself, can you?
homepage, it is there. In the course homepage, if you go, there several books have been referred, I think, and recommended. So you can go through in that list.
Sir, I am Samsura.
Yes.
Sir, what are the I have this is the first class for me. What are the links you have provided for the previous class?
What are
Actually,
the
I want previous classes links.
previous classes link?
Classes links.
I mean, this is the first session that I am taking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am the first session attended.
Yeah, so there is no previous session for me. This is the first session.
This is the first session, sir.
Yeah, this is my first session. Yeah.
Okay. Previous lecture, sir. Actually.
What?
Previous lecture session links. Previous lectures are there. The lecture links are there now, sir, for the studying machine learning, introduction to machine learning, and
I mean,
all.
all the links are there in the NPTEL website in the course page. There, Everything is there.
Okay.
So for this question, 52 tickets have been sold for 50 seats. So what is the probability that there will be a seat available for every passenger who shows up? So if more than 50 passengers show up on the flight date, then at least one passenger will not get a seat. So what will be the probability of that at least one passenger does not get a seat? So it might happen if 51 passengers show up or 52 passengers show up. In that case, at least one passenger will not get a seat. So what is the probability of these two? So what is the probability that 51 passengers show up? So 52 tickets have been bought and 51 passengers are showing up. So 52 C 51, and the 5% is 0.05. This is the probability of absence. So the probability of presence is 0.95. So 0.95 to the power 51 passengers are present, and 0.05 to the power 1 passenger did not show up. So this is the probability that 51 passengers showing up. So in that case, at least one passenger will not get a seat. Similarly, if 52 passengers show up, all the passengers show up, 52 C 52 into 0.95 to the power 52 into 0.05 to the power 0, because none of them are absent, all passengers are present. So this is the probability that all 52 show up and 2 passengers will not get a seat, because there are only 50 seats in the airplane. So this plus this is the probability that at least one passenger will not get a seat. So you have to calculate these two probabilities. So 1 minus these two will be the probability that every passenger will get a seat. Is basically if 50 or less number of passengers show up, in that case all of them will get a seat.
Sir, perhaps can you please write clearly? One more time.
So 52 C 51 into 0.95 to the power 51 into 0.05 to the power 1 plus 52 C 52 0.95 to the power 52 0.05 to the power 0. So this probability 1 minus this whole thing. So this is the probability that every passenger will get a seat.
Sir, I have a question related to the mean square variance of linear regression. So do you have questions of the form?
Linear regression was not covered in week 1, right? So it will be covered in week 2. So in week 2 we will discuss that.
When is that session? Problem solving session, sir?
Yes.
When is it?
Again in next Tuesday. My session will be on next Tuesday again.
Okay. So today's session was basically only on probability and
classification, regression, supervised, unsupervised. Basically all the topics that were covered in week 1.
Okay. No.
Sir, in week one's assignment, we have the problems of regression and classification also.
Yeah, we have a
in week 1 the regression, classification, supervised, unsupervised, all these topics are covered, and questions are also there from these topics for first assignment.
So just wanted to ask a doubt regarding that. Like you're given a model to fit a linear regression of the form y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2.
using the mean square error model. And we are given some set of x1s and set of x2s and set of y's. And we are asked to predict the value of y at a point x1, x2 is equal to 0.5 minus 1. So how do you do that actually?
I mean, the deadline for the assignment is not over yet, so I cannot answer this question now. After the deadline is over, then the question can be discussed in these live sessions. But before the deadline is over, we cannot.
No, I'm going to solve the
Sir,
exact
but
question.
similar type of question you can explain it once so that
Yeah.
we would know
I
how
mean,
to solve the
I
questions
don't
of the
have
assignment.
such question. Then how can I right now generate such a question? So it will be difficult. I mean, and it's also I don't know what question is there. So it's better to not discuss a question that is given in the assignment, and the deadline is not over yet.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
No,
Hello,
sir,
sir.
not the particular
Week
question
1
should
and
be
week 2,
discussed, but the similar
week 1
type of
and week 2
question should be
assignment, can
discussed.
you explain?
Yes.
Hello, sir. Week 1 and week 2 assignments, the discussion, when you explain.
I mean, I will not discuss the assignment questions specifically. If you have any doubts regarding the assignment questions, you can post in the discussion forum, or I mean, when the deadline is over, then you can ask doubts regarding that assignment question. Then I will be able to answer. Like in the next week, I
Every
can.
Tuesday, there's a face-to-face discussion, no? Every Tuesday, a face-to-face discussion, no?
Yeah, every Tuesday the live sessions would take place, but if the assignment deadline is not over, then I cannot discuss that. After the assignment deadline is over, then in the next week I'll be able to discuss. But the assignment deadline is 7th, I think. So even in the next Tuesday, I will not be able to discuss.
So specifically for assignment question, probability based question, which book we have to refer, sir? General machine learning books or special mathematical books?
No, I mean the probability questions that will be asked, those questions will not be very difficult. I mean these are because probability is just a prerequisite. That's why some questions might be there on probability, but not like very difficult questions would be asked there. Basic knowledge about these probability distributions would be enough. And also in most of the machine learning, many of the machine learning books, in the first chapter some preliminary topics on probability are covered, so you can go through those.
Okay.
And the problem is like if we are going through this whole like your sessions for week 1, still we are not able to answer the questions which is in assignments. So that is specifically for the numerical problems. So we request you to, like, you can take in your next session, you can take similar kind of problem, so we can able to, like, at least we can understand how we can solve this those kind of problems.
Yeah, I mean the that question I don't have any similar questions like that now. So in this session I will not be able to
I have
discuss any similar
typed in
question.
the chat box. I have typed in the chat box the model of the question. I haven't given you the exact numerical values, but from the model of the question you can get. You can just tell us the method to solve it. Like you can see.
No, I mean is the exact question. Please don't tell me to answer method for the exact question that is given in the assignment.
I'm telling you, I'm not
So
giving
the
you the
problem
exact.
is, like, we are not able to even find like how to solve those kind of problems after going whole session, like for
I mean it is not possible that, I mean there are many questions on classification, regression, supervised, unsupervised. All those questions are there in the assignment also. You cannot expect that all the questions would be all answered in the live sessions. It is not possible that all different questions would be discussed here. It is, I mean you also have to do some things on your own, isn't it? There are many questions of classification, regression, supervised, unsupervised that are there in the assignment 1 also, isn't it? Just that one question that numerical, I don't have any similar questions like that, so how can I do it right now? It is not possible that I will collect all such similar questions and put it in the discussion in these live sessions.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So, your online YouTube lectures and assignments. So sometimes it may be different. So it is very difficult to solving this particular assignments. Actually.
Can you please repeat your question?
So whatever your YouTube NPTEL sessions, what are you taking that this and your assignments, maybe there's a different part. So it is very difficult to solving the assignments. Is my point of view for this.
Yeah, I mean, some one or two questions in the assignment would be slightly difficult. So, but you have to
And
you.
most of because of I'm application oriented, I'm focused on application oriented. So a lot of maths in that case, and I because of my focus is only application oriented. So because of as a engineer point of view, just I'll be focused on just application, how to develop the application using this machine learning or whatever this in that is. So a lot of maths they are going on sessions. So these are not interactive sort of in my point of view actually in that. So getting sir.
I didn't understand your question properly. So, are you suggesting something or are you
So
asking something?
yeah. Just I'll be suggest something because of I'm just application developer and your channel or your NPTEL machine learning lot of maths there comes in that your sessions.
Hmm.
So it is very difficult to solving the assignments point of view actually in that.
So, what is your suggestion in that case?
So suggestion means you mostly focus on application oriented. So my is a this is a my personal opinion
Okay.
because lot of students whatever they participated. So most of interest they are application oriented. A few of students, 5 or 6% students, they are related to the backend process of the exactly what happens in this derivation,
But
what
you
are
know, the theories are
most of
also very important,
related.
isn't it? You have to first learn the theory, then you can apply it.
Yeah, I know
Otherwise, how
that,
can?
sir.
So theories
I
are
know
important
that.
mathematical
So
equations for every machine learning algorithm are
and
important.
every
So
machine learning algorithms they have changes. Whatever the derivation, each and every book it will be changes. Means so there are some misunderstandings when you are listening this type of your YouTube's NPTEL YouTube's.
okay.
So
Please
these are
explain
my personal
concept
suggestions.
learning.
Yeah. Yes, right.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
After listening to the classes, sir, I was unable to answer the assignment question, sir.
Which one?
Sir, after listening to the classes, sir, the first week classes,
Hmm.
I'm unable to answer the question, sir. So please make the question, the session such way that we are able to answer the question, assignment questions.
I already said that this specific question on linear regression that was there in the assignment, I don't have any specific problems on similar to that, but other questions are very similar to what are given in the assignment one, isn't it?
No,
Yes or
what
no? There are
that's
many
fine,
questions
sir.
on classification, regression, supervised, unsupervised. There no?
What are teaching on the YouTube videos, sir, that they are different than the assignment questions.
What?
What we are learning in the YouTube channel, NPTEL YouTube channel,
Hmm.
they're different from the assignment questions given.
I mean the questions and the video lectures are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the video lectures are prepared by the instructor and the regular TAs, and the assignments are also prepared by the regular TAs. We don't have any say in that. We are here to just conduct these live sessions. So we don't have anything to say on that, because these questions are not prepared by us. Questions are prepared by the instructor and the regular NPTEL TAs. So you can
This conveys our ideas are that it should be match between the at least 70% match between the session and the assignment questions.
Yes, sir. This is the problem, sir. After watching the lecture, you are not unable to do the assignment. That is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, these questions are prepared by the regular TAs. We don't prepare these live session TAs. Don't prepare these questions.
Lecture are so in brief that you are not able to understand properly, and still you are not able to answer the.
Yeah, you can write that in the discussion forum if you feel that these topics have not been covered. Then the regular TAs and the instructors are there in the discussion forum. They would be able to answer your questions properly, that whether these topics are there in the first week topics or not, because these questions are not handled by us. These questions are prepared by the regular TAs and the instructors. So we don't.
Please convey our concerns to the team, sir.
No, discussion forum is the best way to do that. Yeah, in discussion forum you can write your complaint if you.
Okay. One thing we can do. One thing we can all write the same query to at the discussion forum so that they can address it. Right? 1 to 2.
Yeah, if you have any doubts that whether this is present or not, you can write in the discussion forum. But I don't know whether this this topic is covered properly in the week 1 topics or not. So yeah, the instructor and the regular TAs would be better to answer that question, because we don't prepare these questions, or we don't prepare the video lectures, so we don't know whether these questions should be there or not. So it would be better if you write your doubts in the discussion forum there.
We can raise this question on discussion forum so that they can address, right? So everybody please raise these questions. As many as we are raising this question, they will address it and they will take it seriously. If 1 to 2 people are writing, then I don't think so they will address it, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether this topic is properly covered in week 1 or not. So I mean, this question is given, so I think some part of it might be covered. I don't exactly remember what are the things that have been covered, but if you have any doubts regarding the question, you can certainly post in the discussion forum.
I am like what exactly the problem is. Yes, the topic is there. Like for example, if the problem is linear regression or maybe classification problem, so the topic was there in lecture, but there is no any link like how to solve the questions which is related to the regression or classification problem.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah. So yeah, for those doubts you can write in the discussion forum. You have doubts that how to solve this, then you can write in the discussion forum. The TAs would be able to answer your question.
Something should be
Only the derivative part has been taught in the video lectures, recorded lectures, but the solving part is not covered, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea how these questions are prepared or whether these topics are there or not. So it's better if you write there. So in this live session, there is no point to discuss this in this live session, because I don't have any thing to do in this case, because these are not prepared by these live session TAs. So if you have any other doubts regarding the questions that I discussed today, you can ask me. Otherwise, we have almost covered 2 hours.
Only one request. I have only one request. What you can do is like for the next session, your next live session, you can do like you can just check the videos like whatever the lectures on week 2, and for those like the numerical problems which is going to be in assignment or maybe in in exam, so you just have to cover those kind of like problems.
I mean, even in this live session, I have covered almost all the topics that are there in the week 1, isn't it?
No, sir, no KNN, K mean. So at least we are able to solve the question.
Yeah, I mean it is.
No, sir, not covered, sir.
I told that most of the things I have covered. Obviously, not all the things I will be able to cover in one session,
one
one.
thing we want to register for the exam, right? If we are not able to do the assignment, then I don't think so. We should register for the exam as well, because at least minimum 60% we should get it. And if we are not able to solve the assignment, then it will be very difficult for the registering exams. Then it will be definitely lost for the IIT. That's all. You just convey this message to IITs. So many hundred people have joined right now, and if we are not able to solve the assignment, then and the lecture and assignment are not in the line.
I mean,
After watching the
I already told that I can't do anything on that thing, that the topics are not same. You can write if you feel that you are not able to solve that. You can write in the discussion forum. There is no need to discuss that in this live session. I can't do anything on that thing. I already told. You can write
okay,
in
thank
the.
you, sir. Then we will write on the.
Yeah, I've already told. These things are not handled by these live session TAs. All the video lectures and assignments are handled by the regular TAs and the instructor. So you can ask them in the discussion forum.
Sir, are calculators allowed in the final exam? Sir?
Calculator, I don't know. I mean, you can ask NPTEL about that. So they would be able to answer whether calculator is allowed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, just I am requesting everyone to just open the right now. Just open the discussion forum and raise your question, right? Raise your query so that they can address it. अगर सिर्फ एक से एक या दो लोग ही लिखेंगे तो वो एड्रेस नहीं करेंगे, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ.
Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for
Sir,
joining.
how to access that forum, sir? Discussion forum.
Discussion.
You can go to the dashboard. In the dashboard, you can find that. Just open your dashboard.
Thank you everyone for joining. If there are no other doubts, we can end this session now.
Sir, may I know the answer for the last question?
Last question, which one? Oh,
The
this.
problem.
Yeah, this is option D would be the correct answer. 0.74.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you everyone.
Thanks.